Right. Want to find your way back to your seats? Amen. Little by little. Amen. 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 So good to see each and every one. Just want to make sure our visitors feel welcome. We have a number of our families on vacation and gone, so it's thrilled that you are here. And I say welcome to our visitors, especially those of you here for your first time. We're thrilled that you're here. God is doing great things in our midst. I feel like I've got a great word from the Lord. Hopefully you picked up a bulletin and have a bulletin, and especially if you're a visitor, you kind of can look through some of the different things about our leadership, our mission, and where we feel our purpose is. And just kind of mention a couple of upcoming events. The bottles for Cradle of Hope will be due next Sunday on Father's Day. And if you've had those and you just want to bring them, then that'd be great. And we'll make certain they make their way over to there. Also, I just appreciate your patience with our project. And I kind of like to get perspective. I try to get perspective on projects because some of them are a long time in waiting. And we are in the midst of our parking lot access project. And I just want to address the one element. We are thankful for our board. I appreciate our board. And we have others who have been here in previous boards. And I can tell you this issue isn't a new issue, but part of where we're at in the parking lot is the parking lot has changed slightly. You may not have noticed that because it needed to for what we have in store. So many years ago, we grappled with this issue of access. And we tossed this back and forth for many years and came up then with a deck that had a lift. And the lift then brought access to people who needed to get into our fellowship hall. That was good while it was. And it wasn't good when it wasn't. And it didn't have the dependability that made me comfortable. And I can remember on one event that was transpiring over in the harvest room, our fellowship hall, that the lift went up, but only went up halfway. And then I looked over again, and the person was being hoisted out and asked to step on their chair to get up to the next level. I said, that's it. That we just can't have that. So then the lift got put out to, some steel recycling place or whatever, and it's been without that for years. And as time has progressed, it's been interesting to me how the need has become greater. And it has been difficult. Cookie walk after cookie walk after cookie walk. All of the people who come to Cookie Walk access are through our fellowship area and come up the stairs. And the most common thing I hear, the most common thing is here, I love Cookie Walk. But Cheryl would agree, we greet people for year after year. And the stairs are a continual issue. Well, this year, throughout this past year, our deck that once housed the lift, it's deteriorated. Like it just, whatever you want to say, it was just holding on by a nail or two. And I even came one Wednesday and one whole board was up and had to nail it down with some nails that were here. Said, well, good enough. Well, that lift or that deck now is gone. And the reason it is gone is because we have a plan. And this plan is to put in a ramp, deck, stairway. We talked about it in our business meeting this year, and I'm going to present it to you, keeping in mind that Nancy and I will have been pastors of this church for 30 years in December. And I have never done a fundraiser. So keep in mind that this is not my area of expertise. We have people who join us by video every Sunday. They're here every Sunday by video. There are people here and would testify to the fact that very, very rarely do we mention money. So today is going to be no exception. It's not all about money. It's about access. And Chris, can you kind of put up there? Okay, John, thanks. We've got a little picture, a little 3D imagery here of where we're headed and what it's going to look like. And I think it's important for you to see what the ramp, deck, stairway is going to look like, because in our business, it was brought up that the stairway would not come into the parking lot, but would head back toward our structure. And when that comes up there, we'll talk a little bit about it. But the neat thing is this is going to be a dream come true in many areas, because it's difficult as a pastor to tell people we don't have access. For instance, everybody here loves to eat. And those of us who have been to Weight Watchers would say, I would say your walk here over the parking lot gave you an extra point. Maybe two. You know, you can always justify an extra point. But when you look at some of the things and people say, well, how can I get up there? How can I get over there? If a person is in a chair, has a walker, maybe even just recently had surgery on their knees, a lot of different things, they can't be there. All of our fellowships, people can't get over there. Every funeral in the last few years, I have to tell the funeral director, you can have a luncheon at our church, but not everyone would have access. It's painful. It's painful in the church service to say afterwards, we're all going to gather together over in our fellowship hall, and not everyone could have access. A number of years ago, Del Apple, I'll name her, she said to me, Pastor, don't forget us older people. Access is becoming more difficult. I can see that, and I know that, and it's painful for me. A wedding, a gathering. Afterwards, we're all going to gather and have donuts. Somebody during Easter would say, there's cinnamon rolls. How can I get there? How can I get there? Somebody needs to use the restroom. How can I get there? A lot of different things that caused me to begin to say, hey, we need access. So if you look at this, kind of like in the 3D, I like the one up there on the right-hand side, kind of gives a good, clear picture. The ramp is going to come all the way down to these doors right out here. So just to the right of where you entered, that's where that's going to come out, or where you would access that. And then you go up there, and then there'll be a landing, and then it'll go up there to the deck to go into the other door. So those doors will no longer be locked on a Sunday. They'll be accessible. So those doors will be open. These doors will be open. And at any time during service, somebody needs to go or whatever, then they go up that access. We also have the stairway that has that little deck there, so a person could come back down without going directly into the parking lot, but head back toward the building. So this is all made out of aluminum. It's all powder painted bronze that matches all of our other doors as well. We have already set this in motion. I don't want to say we might do it. We are doing it. It is happening. You would join with me in helping to pay for it. So, somebody right now just got a call, right? Yeah. Somebody got a text, you need to be home right away. So that part, oops, click, all of our online viewers, they're out. You know, whenever you say, oh, I'm looking for you to help me pay for it, they're like, oh, I knew there was an issue here. This is going to outlast anything I can think of. It's done professionally. The people are coming in and out of Iowa City. They're doing it. And so it comes with a hefty price tag. I'm just going to tell you, it's a a little heftier than we spend normally at the church. We are not in debt. We live within our means. We are very conservative. We're not just out doing all of these things, but this comes at a price tag of $32,000. $32,000. So you might be thinking, wow, that's a lot of money. But what's neat about it is we can all help get that eliminated quickly. So I want to tell you what the plan is. And the plan is it's not one of these gimmick things. It's not one of these, not one person here should feel compelled or under compulsion to give. But an opportunity presents itself for each and every person to participate. And I like that because we're all at different stages and in different places in our life. Some people will tell me, I'm on a fixed income and this is all I can do. I pay my tithe and that is it. I don't have any extra money. I would say to you, continue to pay your tithe and don't worry about this project. There might be other people who would say, hey, there are times when I can take on an extra job, I can do something, and I could generate this income. So what we're going to do is we're going to have envelopes in the foyer beginning today, and we're only going to do this for 4 weeks. We're not going to do this all summer long or all year long. 4 weeks. We have 110 envelopes. 110. In $5 increments. The first one is $5, and it goes all the way up. Each 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. It just keeps going up. All the way up to $5.50. $5.50 is the highest amount of any envelope. Of course, $5.45 is next down. But I say that to say that this is an opportunity for you to look and think, together, we could accomplish this. Now, keeping in mind that maybe somebody's like saying, I have a pretty fixed income and it's pretty limited, but I could jump in at a lower level. We're not telling you when and where you could jump in, but you might pick up a $5, a 10, a 15, a 20. If you can go in at a higher level, maybe not the highest, but higher level, then don't pick up a 5 or a 10, or don't pick up a 5, a 10, and a 15 and say 30, that kind of a thing. Just an envelope where you think you're at. It's not a pledge. It's not a pledge. It's not under compulsion, but an opportunity for us to offset that and to do it quickly. And I'm believing God that I haven't done this ever in the church. And since I'm the lead, $5.50 is not available. I took it. And I feel that you need to know that, not for me to pat myself on the back, but for Nancy and I to say, we are in. We're not just promoting something we do not do. I would never ask you to do something I wouldn't be willing to do myself. And I honestly feel that we are in at $5.50, and that's out. We're ready to go. I wouldn't mind seeing if we can take on another, maybe even another, and believe God to supply the need. So I want to encourage you to pray about it. If you don't feel comfortable today to pick one up, don't pick one up. Chris, you have a copy of that table there? In the foyer, actually it'll just be a table laying down, is the whole table full of those from 5 to 5:45. There's only 2 missing, 550 and 300. Somebody called me on the phone for another reason, a person who's an online participant and an online giver, said, tell me again what you're doing. So I was right in the midst of getting this done. And the person said, sign me up for the 300. So the 550 and the 300 are already off the table. Interestingly enough, the table only holds 108. So